Been up early because I didn't go to sleep yet. I was up picking up the daughter-in-law. She was at a party in Detroit, Halloween party. She's all dolled up to look um, like Halloween stuff. She had a cool outfit. So that's what I did this morning, and I was supposed to meet her at in front of her girlfriend's house. Well, I ain't been there in a couple of years. I was parked in front of the wrong house, even the wrong street. And as soon as I parked there, deer came walked over by me and started staring at me. It was pretty wild. I didn't have my camera ready or my phone, or I'd have videoed it, because it was the weirdest thing, man. Because right after that, it just walked away and turned back around and looking at the lights, and then walked slow, and then the cops went by, and then they drove by and seen me there and called me and told me I'm in the wrong spot. So I think just out of overly tired myself, and my my back went out grocery shopping, of all things, man. Putting the groceries away, reached in the cart and hunched over a little bit, and wham. So I'm walking like Fred Sanford this morning. Excuse me. Took a hit of some sour diesel oil. I made it myself. It's a lot thicker than the shit they make, because I don't put no vitamin E additives in. There's like the dispensaries do, just the raw do, you know. When you put the raw do, sometimes when you're going like this, you push the button right there, because it's thick, it gets a little bit clogged right there at the end, because it's so thick. And that's why they use thinners, but the thinners fucking kill people and harm people. I don't even know how these people get away with adding vitamin E shit in something they're selling from $25 to $40 and $50 for a gram with vitamin E oil. They should be ashamed of themselves. If it was up to me, they would be fined $33 million for selling that to the people. Fine them $33 million for doing that, and ban them from selling that shit for vitamin E to profit usury at a higher level, to wreck people's lungs and add agents that shouldn't be in their body. Nobody should be smoking vitamin E oil. So that's what I say to all you dispensaries here in Michigan. You know who you are selling that shit, driving around and don't got no bills. Well, you got bills, but you got plenty of loot because you're ripping the people off, man. And so everybody know that. If you're getting that oil from these dispensaries here, get to know what they're doing. They're selling you poison and poisoning you. And to me, it seems like they're in cahoots with someone else trying to poison us. You know, isn't this state, our governor sold us out and says it's okay for big pharma to do anything to us like guinea pigs. The only state in the union, huh? It's time to round these leaders up, I say. All of them. Every one of them in this state. All they're a bunch of passing the job down to their family members and constituents, and they're dirtbags. All of them. Even their names tell you. You know, you ever have a dingleberry on your hairs on your ass? Well, that's what politicians are, and some of their names are that. They're dirtbags. You know, one example is the name I just used. Lady's not qualified to barely fucking make cookies. And she gets a job that her husband had for 45, 50 years. See, ain't that a bitch, man? We have a good establishment for a government, but what happened is dirtbags got in there. And if we could somehow get some real people in there, not these actors and these people who bring us propaganda and tell us when we're telling the truth, we're telling propaganda when we're telling the truth. We can get rid of that and get some real people in there and start a real media outlet and break away from this conglomerate bullshit media, NBC, ABC, PBS, all those channels with this, the dirt bags. Just they all tell the same story and lie. So we need to somehow implement that too in our society and culture across the board. Every broadcast house in America, in the world for that matter, because they're all one, should be shut down, taken over, and let the voices of the people be heard, not the dirtbags who make up propaganda. And look, just the other day, we have these candidates running for office. Well, it seems like some of them are speaking out against these dirtbags and campaigning like they're giving the example that Biden and that administration did everything possible to make it possible for children to transgender themselves, take pills to stop their puberty, and all kinds of weird shit that seems satanic. And they mention it's a demonic satanic group we're fighting against. And other people use that as a campaign thing to saying, oh, that's a farce and blah, 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 blah. See, issues of aborting children. And look, when they did this to say it's okay, they cheered about aborting children. How sick a society is that where you cheer that's okay to abort children? I don't know, man. I'm kind of lost, man. Society, you've become really brain dead. And you women who say it's your choice, let me tell you, you wouldn't even be breathing if it wasn't for the man upstairs. So it's not your choice to kill or keep. You get pregnant, it's gonna come. It was inevitable. It was in the stars, whatever you want to call it. You kill that child, you're guilty of murder. And I say you better repent, because you'll get the second death. You will be aborted from forever. Call it what you want. We're an electrical charge. They don't dissipate. Electricity doesn't dissipate. So where does your electrical charge go once you come out of this carbon fiber suit? Where do you go? Huh? Well, they can give you books and whatnot. I think you go back to the main source of that energy, and you're in a container, and you have to go through what we call the Van Allen belt. And those who are tricking the world and shitting on the world can't get by it. When they'll be zapped like a bug, and that will be their second death. That's in my own mind's eye how I see it. So hopefully it's something like that, where these dirt bags are doing this to us over and over and over, like white lines in the sky. Meteorologists will tell you what, they're new clouds. New clouds. What school did you go to? Dumbass school? So meteorologist means nothing. They don't tell you that there's a group of people augmenting the weather, causing these clouds and killing people at an alarming rate by doing these ludicrous things like augmenting the weather and blocking the sun. So that same group is the people who tell you go put on a mask. Ain't that funny? Huh? Ain't that funny? And then you see these NASA goons all strapped up in their levitation suit that makes like, hey, look, we're floating there. We're all floating around here in space. They're the most biggest dirtbags on this earth. They have nothing to prove that there's space. I tell you what there is, and I got evidence. Look in the sky and it's blue. You're in a container. On the other side of that is water. So with the light, it makes it blue. Okay, not refraction of particle matter in the air and so forth. No. And if you look at the Milky Way, that is the tear in your veil. Okay, you come out of a veil. The Matrix, your mother, just like myself, we all did. We have that in common, and we are in a container. There's books that talk about that, the veil, the Matrix, the birthing, and so forth. I'm sure that's been augmented by man. Just like in that same word, it says, God's not going to hold you accountable for what you don't know. If that's the case, we don't know shit. So what are we held accountable for? See? That just kind of blows me away that we hear those words and everybody believes in this George Washington with wooden teeth is the founder of this country, and it was here and just fucking woods and shit and a couple of fucking Indians running around and you take the land from them. No. This group of people who are close to New World Order killed off people by the thousands and millions. All these wars. What is America? A melting pot of all the countries that have been wrecked to get to this NWO. See? Yeah. And there's a group of people called the Red Brick Community who, when they open their mouth and speak about Tonga or Ukraine, immediately thereafter they go destroy those red brick buildings, and the evidence that we're talking about that conclusively shows, and their behavior with the remaining stuff that's left behind conclusively shows that what I just said is so too. You know, Tonga's a good example. We had a cat talking about Tonga, and just prior to that, a cat in a red brick community talking about the moon is a reflection of the earth. And then those people who want to debunk it says, well, how can you say that? And you use, you know, the layout of where we're at here, and there's something missing there. Well, it's underwater. It was Tonga, and it lined up, and they, you know, did sound bounces and got the scan of the land and everything and showed that that's what it was. Thereafter, Tonga exploded underwater with a volcanic eruption. There's no such thing as volcanoes. It's man adding elements to create things. So that's the absolute truth. They know what I'm saying is the truth. You know, just like everything that they tell us is a lie. You know, why do you think, like jets, for example, they don't fly, they levitate. They don't put fuel into the wings. It's compressed air, and it converts and pulls the hydrogen out, and it implodes. That's their propulsion system. If we knew that, we wouldn't have to have these parasites with these lakes of oil polluting everything. We could just be using air to fuel our homes, to propel us down the street. This is the absolute truth once again. The energy vampires with the ark with the Joan of Arc, and this, you know, Joan of Arc, this broad shows up with a sword, just kicks ass, right? And then the church burns her, right? Because she can't tell the secret, what she did with the sword. The fasces is electric. One fasces is greater than 1,000 arrow men. So many people don't know what a fasces is. Do a self-study, learn what a fasces is. It's on your money. It's decorated all over the White House, on Abraham Lincoln's chair. They tell you a lie narrative story about this Joan of Arc. Yeah, movies about it. They even have movies with one like the Highlander. You know, there's only can be one left. You know, One what? They're supposed to be eternal. Well, I don't know about nothing like that with no sword or nothing like that, but I know the fasces is real. It's a powerful weapon, and you can take over cities, towns, and the world. You have enough of them, and some guys or gals ready to use them upon the people. So, another hit. As for Red Brick Dawn. Excuse me. So, well, let's see. We've been talking for 15 minutes. I don't even know what time it is. Anybody out there? Hey, it says one person's watching. Huh. But nothing showing up in the chat. I rolled a doobie in a cigarette tube. I have a machine that you could roll your own. I'll show you it. Right there. See that unit there? You can roll your own. So I just been putting bud in there. See, I just put bud in there instead. So I just grinded up some bud. Where's my little grinder right here? Get my little grinder, and then I dump it in there and use one of them tubes right there. And you know what? It's a little bit psychological because, the cigarettes I quit. Let me light one. I quit cigarettes, but I sneak one every once in a while. And it's probably the hardest habit that I ever tried to quit is cigarettes. I quit drinking alcohol in 1995. I really didn't even quit. It was just like taken away from me because I was causing myself problems and I would get locked up. That ain't a good combination. And sometimes just because I'm reacting to a situation while intoxicated, I couldn't react logically, and I would want to do the right thing, and people would fabricate lies. And I did 5 years for something I didn't do, and that person, those who believe in God and so forth and karma, I believe that person's somehow going to have to pay me back those 5 years. I don't know how. Here on this earth, they should at least give me $250,000 for doing that to me. And they have the means to give me that money too, and they should, because that was a pretty rotten thing to do to a guy who did anything for you and would give you my kidney heart if you needed it. So anyway, that act against me almost turned me into a murderer, because when I got out, I was going to go kill those people. But while I was locked up, I found something deeper, spirituality, and I don't have all the answers to, what really went on in my head, but I met a bunch of gentlemen, predominantly black ones, but I hung out with a couple white guys too that really had a lot of rapport for, and God put men in my midst who I needed to have in my midst. And I had an autodidactic education about many things, and one of the most profound things was, while I was there, that I've become aware of since 2019, is that there's many pockets of survival everywhere in this world, let alone in America. And if you research, they give you this bullshit narrative about world's fairs and all this bullshit and what they built and so forth. And what does it remind you? King Nebuchadnezzar saying, look what I did, look what I did. And God said, that's what you did. And he knocked his ass down and made him like an animal for 7 years. Well, so shit's going to hit the fan for these parasites who did all this hocus pocus to us. It's just a matter of time and inevitable. If you do indeed believe in karma. And I believe it will bite them in the ass. I believe everything they did, the propaganda they created to come against us, everything is going to come and bite them in the ass. And I think that's why Bill Gates is busy building bunkers right now. I think they're very much aware that there's a group of people just in India who want Bill Gates. We should turn them over. I say we should turn them over to India. There you go. Turn them over to those families of all those children he maimed. That's what I say. Do that. And all the funds should go to those families, to everyone he's maimed, to everyone that's been tricked in this hocus pocus shit should get paid by that parasite. And and lock Fauci up while you're at it. That's what I say. But if you believe in the word of God, that probably won't happen because it seems like I don't know what it is because I can't figure it out. I try to reason and think if I was a god, how, would I behave this way? If I'm all knowing and I create man, and then had regrets that I made him, so I had doubt and I didn't do something right and man was bad. And then later I knew it, but I was all knowing. Why would I want to destroy the whole earth and kill all man and flood the earth and melt it? But indeed, you look around, this earth has been melted and flooded. And they give you a bullshit narrative about it. We in the Red Brick community say it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. And there's no such thing as eons and all this other time that they're telling you. They have no way. They just come up with bullshit numbers and tell you carbon dating and this bullshit and that bullshit. The same how they test people for different things. Same thing. Like osomes. Osomes get produced every time something's wrong with you. So they just use that as their marker and say, yeah, you got this or you got that and take this and take that. See, they sold us out. We're the guinea pigs, and then they want you all to be injected with different things. That's all they want you to do. They want you to buy in their stinking ass, evil, stinking world. And that's what it is. You have a beautiful immune system. Yeah, but we violate it by using all these antibacterial soaps and anti. That's against life, against life. Sometimes there's bacteria that's good for us. See, they don't know these things either, man. See, I played as a kid, I played outside in a swamp. Okay? There was a pond behind us. It's mosquitoes and bugs and dirt and shit and raccoons and rats and mice and raccoons and deer and coyote and you name it, all kind of shit. And we were outside all the time. We didn't have all these toys and phones. And when we went out, we had sticks to play with, sticks and stones, and so maybe some GI Joe guys we'd blow up and shit, with some calcium carbide and water or all different things we would do instead of being inside. We survived that. Matter of fact, we'd play with mercury. We did all kind of shit with mercury. I think I even ate some before by mistake. Maybe that's what's made me see these energy vampires as having some of that mercury, holding it in my hand and playing with it, learning about it, learning that you can a very good conductor of electricity and so many other things. Well, it looks like I'm probably going to end this because it looks like my battery is going to fucking go toast. I got to get a new battery for this piece of shit phone here. So, when they talk about root canals, man, don't get a root canal, man. Jerk your tooth out of there if it's that bad. I know a guy almost died getting a root canal. I had a tooth jerked. Man, it was pretty painful. Right there. Right there. That fucking root was like that long, man. I didn't even think it came out of my head. I still got it. I asked him when they pulled it. I said, man, can I have that tooth? They said, yeah. You want it? I go, yeah. It's mine. Well, that was a two story. So that's it, man. I think we're gonna. It's I don't know what time. It's really early. I don't know what time is it. I think 5:30. 5:30. I started this, so it's got to be at least. Yeah, it's got to be six something. So, folks, just killing time. Someone to talk to. Myself. Yeah. Well, in my mind's eye, I see somebody was there. So somebody listened to me, and sometimes that's what you need, just to get shit off that's on your mind. Even if you're not talking about what's on your mind, that you're just talking at least about something that's true. All the mountains are melted buildings. Might sound strange, but it's true. And this world's been melted, and there has been pockets of survival everywhere. A group of people, we had these dark ages. That's where they blanked us out and killed off the adults and kept the kids around and so forth, all over the world. Same song and dance. Um, there's much ample evidence everywhere, and as we collect it, they delete accounts of people who get real close to showing you the narrative of the real story, not their story. So, in the last 2 weeks, I lost, I don't know, 15, 30 subscribers or something like that, but I've fluctuated from 999 all the way down to back to 900 and so forth, up and down, up and down. And I think we're at like 940 or something like that now. So let's get to 1,000 subscribers, um, and get those 1,000 subscribers to create channels. And we all need to become one and get the red brick attention and get the red brick message out to the world. It should be on all these parasitical NBC, ABC. Breaking news. Meltologists have discovered the truth about this realm. You're not spinning. The people who've been telling you what's going on have been spinning you. Yeah, that's what needs to happen.